Remakes and remasters are the big thing now, bringing back classic titles from yesteryear with a whole new lick of paint. It's a great idea that not only brings back the nostalgic gamers, but it also brings a whole new generation to try out these titles. Activision has mostly spent the early parts of this generation just making Call of Duty titles, but ever since 2017 Activision has been on a remake frenzy, bringing back the original Crash and Spyro trilogies and an absolutely wonderful Crash Team Racing remake. But now it's time for the Pro Skater series to get its own remake with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Bringing the two classic titles up to date with a new coat of paint and plenty of modern touches. So let's see if this is the return the Birdman deserves. Originally released in 1999 and 2000 respectively, Pro Skater 1 and 2 were Activision's big money spinners back then, long before Call of Duty and Skylanders were a thing, and both titles are some of the best reviewed titles ever. THPS 2 especially, as it's the second best rated game of all time according to Metacritic. These games inspired a whole generation of young kids, teenagers and 20-somethings to pick up a board and go skating in their local area. It was a truly wonderful cultural experience. The series quality declined over the years, but after a couple of terrible revamps, like the plastic skateboard peripheral for Tony Hawk Ride and the absolutely awful Pro Skater 5, the series disappeared, never to be heard of again. Well, that was until now. Pro Skater's back, and it's the best it's ever been. The package, as you guessed from the title, includes both Pro Skater 1 and 2, and they've been fully remade for the current gen, but still being nostalgic enough for old hands. The main aim of the game is score chasing. You go through the game's many different areas, pulling off tricks and moves to build up your score and multiplier in hopes to get a stupidly high score. The handling is thankfully on point, and really for purists that's all that really needs to be heard. The game controls like a dream, and with a little bit of practice even the most novice of gamers will pull off some spectacular moves. Another thing I did like is when you bail, instead of waiting for your skater to get up, your skater now sorts of fuzzes like a glitch sort of effect, then pops back on the board. It's a cool way and it does get you back onto the game quite quickly. But going around doing tricks is only part of the fun. The 19 different locations have loads of hidden areas and secrets, so a big part of the game is also exploration, trying to find all the hidden collectibles and the best places to get those high scores. A nice new inclusion is that Pro Skater 1 areas now have more objectives to them, so they're similar to the Pro Skater 2 levels, which is ace. Also, Vicarious Visions have updated the amount of moves you can do by including reverts, spin transfers and a few others from the later games. If you're purist, however, you can swap to the original movesets of either games if you wish. It's great to see the game catering for fans and newbies. Progression has changed quite a bit now. Stat points are now in the open and you'll have to find them in the game's many different areas. Also, money is now earned by completing objectives, which in turn you can use to buy stuff to customise your skater. And thankfully at the moment of writing there's no microtransactions whatsoever. Continuing talking about progression, it kind of reminds me of a Call of Duty Online sort of game now, as every time you complete a run you gain XP to fill up your bar and you level up. There's also hundreds upon hundreds of challenges to complete that reward you with XP and cosmetics. I really do like this approach to progression, as there's always something to aim for, and I can see this lasting folks a long time. Even after the credits rolled on both the campaigns, there's a heck of a lot for you to do. From the absolutely huge list of challenges for you to do, there's loads of tasks for each level, as well as upgrading the huge list of skaters. There's even a create a park mode, and thankfully it's one of the best in the series, with the ability to create some brilliantly designed courses. You can even upload your courses online to let other folks play it, and in turn you can play other people's courses. It's a wonderful feature and I can't wait to see how the community takes to it. Talking of community, there is online and local multiplayer. When online you can join other skaters to do score attacks, speed runs and leaderboards. Thankfully it's all fleshed out and I can see myself coming back to it. The netcode is also pretty great, getting into a match is quick and it all runs well. On to the graphical side of things now, and if you go back to the original games, whilst they still look good for their time, they certainly do look their age with fog and muddy textures. But like the Crash and Spyro remakes, these games have had an absolutely fantastic visual overhaul. Beloved Levels like the warehouse have now been spruced up with lovely new lighting and textures. Other areas like the mall, Venice and school wonderfully recapture the speciality of the original whilst also looking like a brand new level. There's plenty of hidden areas and secrets that old school fans will totally love, but I don't want to spoil it for you, but rest assured it's a stunning job. The game runs impressively at 60 FPS on whatever console you play it on, and for the most part it does stick to that, only dropping a few frames during busy sections on the base Xbox One S. As for the resolution, it's 1440p on the Xbox One X, dynamic 1440p on the Pro, and 1080p on the base PS4 and 900p on the base Xbox One. The game looks great on whatever console you play it on. The only issue I had with the presentation is only a small one, and that's the load times can be a little bit too long. One of the biggest and most important things about THPS is, other than its fantastic and addicting gameplay, is its soundtrack. During the late 90s and early noughties, this series' soundtrack introduced a whole new generation to many songs like Goldfinger's Superman, Rage Against the Machine's Guerrilla Radio, to Primus with Jerry Was a Race Car Driver. Its soundtrack was and still is bang on, and thankfully this remake includes most of the original licensed soundtrack. But that's not all, as Vicarious Visions included 37 new songs to make for a soundtrack with over 50 rockin' tunes. And the great news is, most of these new additions are very well welcome, but if you're not keen on some titles, you can choose what songs get played in the game, which is ace. Conclusion time now, and Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 Remake makes up for the absolute disaster that was Pro Skater 5 and brings back Tony Hawk with a truly wonderful couple of remakes that, like Activision's recent remakes, are true labour of love. Bringing these games up to 2020 standards with an absolute gorgeous graphical update, as well as breathing new life into these beloved areas, adding plenty of content and that same great addicting Pro Skater gameplay that still shines through to this day. And it's not only proves how special those games were, but also how much fantastic work Vicarious Visions have done. A few little issues here and there don't take away from this truly essential game. So with that, I'm giving Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 a 9 out of 10 with the title of brilliant. As always, thank you for watching my review, like, rate and subscribe, and until next time, happy gaming. Bye!